Hey folks, Colin here from Something's Recording, and today I'm going to show you one trick to better control the cymbal sounds in your overhead mics. So today we're discussing cymbals and overhead mics, but before we dive in, if you want to go a little bit deeper into the mixing process and you want to start dialing in your workflow as an engineer, then I have just the thing for you. It is my 7-step mixing checklist. This is a simple PDF that will guide you through the entire mixing process, step by step, to help you get professional, radio-ready mixes without the hassle and without the guesswork. It is completely free. You can download it below using the link in the video description. Now let's jump in here and look at our overhead mics here. First things first, let me play you the track, how it's sounding. I have the vocal muted so we can focus in a little bit on the drums here, and then I'll solo up the drums so you can hear the drum mix as a whole, and we can hone in on controlling the cymbal sound, the cymbal noise in our overheads a little bit more so they're not so overpowering. So here's the instrumental mix as it stands. Now there's a couple reasons you might want to bring the cymbals down in your overheads. One could be maybe the drummer's a really hard hitter. Sometimes heavy hitters, they really lay into those cymbals and you get a ton of cymbal noise coming through your spot mics, so your snare drum, your toms are just bleeding cymbal noise into your kit. So you want to tuck them down a little bit in your overheads so it's not so overpowering. Another thing could be you want to pull your overheads up to have more of the snare and the tom and the kick sound coming from your overhead so you get more of a clear kit picture without the cymbals being so loud. So what we're going to do here to control the cymbal noise in our overhead a little bit, to bring it down, just tame it a little bit, is we're going to use a multi-band compressor. Another option would be to use a de-esser. You will get the same kind of effect as this. So we're going to pull in the multi-band compressor here, and I'm going to pull up actually my de-esser setting. So what this is I just have it split into 2 bands. The lower band here, everything below 4K is not doing anything. And then I have everything above 4K. We have the ratio set 20:1, so it's acting like a limiter, and our attack and release are as fast as possible here. Let's take a listen to what our overheads are sounding like, and we'll see if we can hone in on the area that our cymbals are mainly in. So our biggest cymbal hit is right in the middle there, and it looks like our cymbals are just ringing above about 3K here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our multiband and pull it down a little bit to about 3K. So we're just compressing everything above 3K. Now what the idea is here is that we just tuck down the cymbals when they get too much. So we don't want to affect the sound of our snare or our hi-hat or the top end of our kick drum and toms in the overheads here. We want those to sound the same. We don't want to neuter the top end attack on our spot mics or our kick drum or our snare and toms here. We just want to pull the cymbals back and tame them a little bit. So all we're going to do is pull down the threshold just so we're tucking the cymbals back a little bit here. So about there is okay for me. It looks like we're starting to etch a little bit into the territory of the top end on our snare and our kick there. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to tuck it back just a touch more. We'll take a listen and we'll throw it in the mix here to A-B it with our drums. So that's a little bit better, right? We've tucked our cymbals in a little bit more. They're a little bit more cohesive with our drum mix, not so wild. Let's focus in on that big hit there in the middle, and we'll do an A-B here with our multi-band compressor and see what our effect is looking like. So that's quite a noticeable effect there. So we could tuck it back even more if we needed to, right? Just pull it back to maybe 22.5. That way we're catching even less of the top end on our snare and our toms. That's what the idea here is, using a multi-band compressor like that. Because you could come in to your EQ, right, and then start cutting a whole bunch up here, right? Maybe our cymbals are too much, so we use a peak filter like that, or maybe a shelf. We come in here, everything below or everything above 3K, right, and we just cut it out. But then you're affecting the kit picture as a whole, right? You're reducing your hi-hat sound, you're reducing the top end on your snare and your kick and your toms. You don't want to do that if you don't have to, right? So that's why we're using our multi-band, to just tuck the cymbals back when they get too much. If there's cymbal hits that aren't too much, right, they sit nicely with the drum kit, this isn't going to catch those. We're just catching stuff that's too much. So one more time here with just our drum mix, and then we'll jump it back into the mix as a whole, and we'll do another A-B here. So you can hear that big hit there in the middle, right? Without our multi-band in, it's a little bit too much up on the top end there. The cymbals are a little bit too wild there. So we put our multi-band in, and it just tames them down a little bit. We'll do a quick A-B right in that area there at about 77. You can hear that big cymbal hit with and without inside our mix here. So we'll start without, and then we'll go back and take a look with. Just taming them a little bit with a multi-band or a de-esser just helps keep your cymbals a little bit more cohesive with your kit, so they don't feel like out of picture, right? When they hit the cymbal, it feels like they jump way out front of your drum kit. That's not what you want. You want to keep them tame. You want to keep them cohesive as a part of the drum kit there. So just a quick review of what we're doing here. All we're doing is throwing a multi-band compressor on our overheads. You can use an EQ to take a look at where your cymbals are about ringing, what area they're focusing in on. Then you just set your multi-band to compress just above, just the area where the cymbals are, and just pull it back till it sounds natural, till it sounds like the cymbals are in picture with your drum kit. I hope that was helpful for you. Like I said at the beginning here, if you are ready to take your mixes to the next level and really start dialing in your workflow, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 7-step mixing checklist. Download it below and start creating more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.